In this brief video, I will demonstrate how to use Stats Pro within Fusion. I'm currently logged into Fusion as an agent. To find Stats Pro, just hover over the Reports tab at the top, find the option for Fusion Stats Pro, and click on it. This opens up Fusion Stats Pro. I'm going to maximize this screen so that way we can get a better view of this report. You can see a long list of reports that we can run with a brief description next to each one explaining what they do. I will cover these in just a moment. I'm currently on the System Reports section. Next to this is a Personal Reports section. By clicking on this, this will show me all of the previous reports that I have saved. This way, as I save them, I can always pull them back up and run them as I need. Next to Personal Reports, I have Most Recents. Most Recents show me the most recent reports that I have ran. So that way, if I forgot to save one, I can pull them back up and redo them again. If I need to find out more information on Stats Pro that you may not see in this video, I can check out the Getting Started section or the Help section within Stats Pro. I'm going to go back to the System Reports section. Underneath System Reports, there's a Home button. This Home button takes us back to this as our starting point within Stats Pro. Next to that is a Back button and then a Forward button. So as I move forward or backwards, I can easily navigate back and forward to the previous or next screen. Okay, let's talk about some of these reports here. Let's get started by demonstrating the bottom two reports here, the Agent Awards Detail Report first. The Agent Awards Detail Report, better known as the $1 Million Report, is a popular one that a lot of local realtors like to run. Running this Agent Awards Report by clicking on this will take us to a criteria screen. On this criteria screen, there's really only one mandatory field, and that's the month and date time parameters. Now this time parameters is a little different, so let me explain this. Here you can see January 2013. I would enter it as 2013-01. This is one of the few reports that operates in a little different way, so let me explain that. Now next to that is my operators. I've got between, but I can also change it to equals, does not equal, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. I'm going to leave this on the between option though. Now, a very popular way of running this Agent Awards Detail Report or the $1 Million Report is typically done from July of one year to June of the next year. So what I'm going to do here is type it in as 2013-07, which is July of 2013, all the way up to 2014-06, to the end of June of 2014. Now I could also put in a certain property category, type, county, area, and so forth, but that's it. That's really all I need to do for this Agent Awards. I want everything that I have sold or this agent has sold in that time parameter. Now down at the bottom you can see I have a Save Search, Cancel, and a Run Report option. I'm going to click on the Run Report option, which will take me to the report. Now on this report you can see everything that this agent has sold from June or July of 2013 to June of 2014. Each transaction gets a half of a unit. That is the way that the $1 Million Report is calculated. And it tells me if this was on the sell side or the list side here. Now here at the top there's the Home button, the Back button. I can hit the Save option up here. I can print this and I can export this out. If I open up the down arrow, I can export it as an Excel spreadsheet or to a PDF option. And I can also change the zoom level to zoom in greater than or zoom out a little bit. There's also a criteria summary tab, but by clicking on this you can see that there's only one set of criteria I ran to produce this report, which was that time period. So I'm going to go back to the report tab here. Okay, well that's pretty much this report. That's how you get your $1 million report. So I'm going to go back to the home page, and now let me demonstrate the second one, which is called the agent ranking report. Now it says ranking report, but it's important to know that if you're logged in at an agent level, you can only see yourself. You cannot see other agents in here. But there's still value to this one here. So let me click on the agent ranking report. By clicking on this one, it takes me to a little different criteria screen. Here I can pick my category types, status. I do need to say status here, and I do need to put solds in here. So I want sold statuses, and I also want solds for a certain time period. Now I could leave it at between, but I want everything that this agent has sold from the beginning of this year. So I'm going to change the between to greater than or equal to. And now this time parameter is a little different from that previous screen. This is a little bit more traditional way of entering your time period here. There is actually a calendar over here I can open up and go back to. So let me do that. Let me pick January 1st of this year. And since it's greater than or equal to, I do not need to put today's date in here. It'll just run everything greater than January 1st. But that's all the criteria I need. It's just solds and a time frame of sold date. I can save this search, but let me go ahead and run this report. Now you can see here, it's a little different. Since I'm logged in as this agent, I can see her name, her picture, and her company logo here at the top. So when you're logged in at an agent level, it'll have your company logo, your name, and your picture here. There's also, you can see that it shows me the transactions, how many transactions on the list side, how many transactions on the sell side, and how many on the total side. I can also change this to the number of units, which breaks it in half. So there's 3 on the list side, 3.5 on the sell side, and a total of 6.5. And then it combines our totals here, dollar value. Now I can also use this click here to group by options, which I'll demonstrate in another report later. You can also see that it's a live link if I click on the agent's name right here, and by doing this actually opens up another window, and this will actually show me every single listing that it's using to calculate these numbers from. It's actually doing a reverse lookup. Here are all those MLS numbers, all the dates, and you can see it was either on the list side or on the sell side and where it's getting its totals from. So this kind of helps you better determine, so if there was an error or a mix-up, now you can really pinpoint where that listing came from or how it came to get those numbers. And it can even go a little bit deeper here. If I click on one of the MLS numbers, it's actually doing a reverse listing lookup inside of Fusion, and it'll actually show me that listing, so that way I can really see this in a little bit more detailed view here. So as you can see, it's just opening up more tabs. So if I just close each tab out, but down here at the bottom I actually need to go back to that original report because it opened in a new window. So that's how I got back to this window here. So that's this view right here. And that's the second report. So let's go back to the home page. So that was the last 2 reports here, which I think are very important ones that a lot of realtors like to run, is the Agent Awards $1 Million report or the Agent Ranking report. Some of these other ones, most of these other ones, I can also run when I'm inside of Fusion itself, when I do a search. I'm going to demonstrate that. That's actually what I call getting into Stats Pro through the back door. But we're actually in what I call the front door. We're on the main screen. So I'm not going to cover a lot of these other reports, but there is one that you cannot do inside of Fusion, and that's this one right here, Performance Summary Dashboard. This one, as you can read right here, it says the dashboard compares multiple areas to each other. So that way I can see which ones are growing faster in comparisons here. So it's kind of a cool one. So let me demonstrate this one, the Performance Summary Dashboard. This one's really good, and it's really meant for about 5 areas to run this by. And as you can see, there's only 2 fields that really are required, and that's the selected date. So I would leave this as it is. It usually pulls up the most current date. Next to that, like I said, it compares areas to each other. And what is best is about 4 or 5 areas. You can do more than that, and you can do less than that, but it really shows and demonstrates really well with about 4 or 5 different areas. So to show this off, I'm just going to pick these 2 areas along with those 2 areas and that area there. That's really all I have to do to run this report. I don't need to enter any other criteria here. I can if I like, but that's going to be the only 2 criteria I'm going to enter. At the bottom I can save this, but I'm going to go ahead and hit run. Now in this report you can see it's much different from the other 2 reports that I ran. First, we got a performance gauge view right here. And I'm currently looking at quarter to date. I can change it to month to date or year to date. I like the year to date. Now what this is doing is taking these 5 areas, and as you can see, that's why 5 really fits in nice and neat here. But once again, I can do more or less. I would just have to use a slider bar if I had more or less of them here. Now year to date, you can see this red dot. That's the target. Down here it says target last year, year to date. So last year to this date, last year, we were at 1,222 solds, quantity sold. You can see my option is quantity sold down here. But we're currently at this level, which is 1,182. So we're a little bit behind on the quantity sold. Now if I change this to the quantity dollars, this is going to recalculate and show us where we are on the dollar amounts to last year. Now here you can see last year we were at 233, almost 234 million, but this year we're at 234 million, almost 235 million. So we were under the target on quantity, but the sales volume is higher for these 5 areas. Now I'm currently looking at the quantity sold year to date. So this area was 342. This one was 125, 41, 272, and 402, which gives us our total quantity. But if I change it to the sales year to date, now it just changes and shows us the sales volume for each of those years. And that's where these numbers are coming in at over here on the left. So you can change it that way from quantity to sales. I can change this performance gauge to the KPI list view. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. Key Performance Indicator is what a lot of companies, corporations use to compare themselves to see if they're on target or not. Now what this one does, it actually shows us both the quantity and the sales volume last year to this year, and it shows us if we've met the target or if we missed the target here, indicated by the legend down below. And then I can change this from the area to the city. Breaks it down to all the cities that are in those 5 areas, or the subdivision here. I'm going to leave it on the city though, or the area. I can change it to quarter to date, month to date, and then down below you can see here it says for best results select 5 or less elements. I've got all 5 selected. That's what shows really nice. I could deselect one if I like. Here's my legend. It shows me the different colors for each of these here. I can hover over each one. It gives me the values there. Once again, I can change it from the quantity sold to the sales dollars for each option. Now what's really nice here is you're noticing I'm looking at 2014, comparing it to 2013 and 2012. But down here I have a little slider which I can slide, and you can see I'm going back to 2010, 2009, and now it's going to show me those 3 years. But at the tip of each one, there's a little arrow I can grab and stretch that and make it all the way out. And now I can see more than just 3 years. And I can see how it's risen or fallen each category here. Once again, here at the top, I can save this, I can print this or export this out. But that's this performance summary by area number here. So let's go back to the home page. That's about all the reports I want to show you through the front door by getting into Stats Pro through the front way. Now, some of these other reports, as I mentioned, I can do this. I can get to these days on market, the inventory, the market analysis, and some of these other inventory ones, but I can get to that inside of Fusion. So let me close this down and get back into Fusion. Now, getting into Stats Pro through the back door, as I mentioned, I would simply just go up to the Search tab, and I can run a search, and I'm just going to do a single family search here. Now, as a single family search, I'm just going to kind of keep this simple for now. I'm going to change my status to just be solds. And then I'm just going to pick a couple of areas. I'm just going to do 02 and 03, and let me do 07 here. And then, let's see, I'm only going to do sold dates, and I'm going to change this between by clicking on this here. I'm going to change it to, let's say, 6 months back. I want all the solds in those 3 areas in the last 6 months. Now, you can see up here I've got too many matches for the map to show up here, but I have a total of 512 matches. If I follow this all the way over to the right hand side, you can see there's a statistics button up here at the top right of the screen. If I click on that, that is the secret door that takes us into Stats Pro through the back door entrance. Once again, I'm just going to maximize this. Here you can see that since I'm still logged in as that agent, I see the agent's picture, I see their logo, and now this takes me to the summary statistics. This one just basically breaks down those properties, and it shows me how many bedrooms, approximate square feet, list price per square feet, sale price, sold price to list price ratio, sold price to original list price, and days on market. It also breaks it down by the highest, lowest, average, and median reports right here. And that's pretty simple. That's just a little breakdown of those 3 areas. But if I come down here and click on the second one called Market Analysis, this is going to break it down a little bit more. Now in this report, you can see that it still shows me the high, low, average, and median for all those categories there. Down at the bottom here, it's currently showing it by the market trends by the month. I've got week, quarter, or year I can break it down. Down here, the blue line is the average. The orange line is the median. I can change this from list price to square feet, sale price, or so forth there. So let me do this by sale price. And then over here, I want to also break this down by the average sale price so that these two are kind of showing me the same stats here. And then here you can see that from March to April, it decreased by 10%. And then from April to May, it actually increased barely, or actually it didn't increase. It was like status quo, 0%. But then it increased in June 26%, decreased in July 10%, and looks like it stayed even in August, and in September it decreased again. So that's how that's breaking down. You can also compare it to previous or a year ago, and it's going to give me different stats here. Now, what I would have done here, reason why it's not doing last year or a year ago, because my date range, I only went back 6 months. That's why this is important, that if I need this year ago, I need to go back, maybe 18 months or even 2 years to get this. But since I did not, I only went back 6 months. That's why it did not go back a year ago to compare it to itself. So that's also important to know. It's always using that date, that criteria that I ran. I can use the group by options as I mentioned before, and I didn't demo this, so let me click on it here. this is going to break it down. It's going to ask me, how do I want to break it down? What kind of groups do I want to narrow this down by? So here, what I want to do, I want to break it down by property category, and then I want to break it down by the areas. Because remember, I did my search by those 3 different areas, so I want to break it down by those 3 areas. And then down here at the bottom, I just want to run this report. Now this next report will actually be a very wide report here, and it's going to give me a lot of columns up here. I have a print button and my 2 exports, the PDF or Excel spreadsheet here. But here's how it broke it down. It broke it down by single family, and then by those 3 areas that I picked. And then it gives me the high, low, average, medium bedrooms, the high square feet, low, approximate square feet. It gives me a lot of stuff up here. In fact, I can scroll over and look at all the stats that it gives me. Now, if I went to print this out, because it's so wide, it would probably print off on at least 2 pages. So I want to show you a little trick here. Usually when I run something like this, I really don't need to see the high and the lows, because a lot of times the high and the lows are real extremes, extreme high or really extreme lows. What I really like to focus on are just the averages of each category. So what you can do is you can click and hold down the column header and drag this over. So that way I'm putting my average square feet all the way over to the left. And I'm going to do the same with my median, because I like the average and the medians. That really tells me a lot. And then I'm going to do that also with the average list price. I'm going to grab it, hold down the left mouse button, and drag this over next to this one. So that way when I do this, as I'm doing this for all these, when I print this out, I really only need to print off the first page, because I'm going to have the most important stuff all the way over to the left-hand side in the order that I like it in. And the second page would be a lot of extra stuff that I really didn't need. So then I'm going to do this same thing with the average list price to sell price. And I'll do the same with the median list price per square feet. And average sale price. So that way I have the average and the median per category type here. And move this way over here. And I can keep on going further, but I hope you understand that you can just very simply grab and move these columns around. Now there's no way to hide these columns up here, so that's why I think the best way is to move them over and put them in the order you like. Also, you have the ability to right click on a column header and sort it this way. So I can sort this by any column header that I like by right clicking on it and do ascending or descending order. I can also move it this way, but I think this is a kind of a hard way to move this here, when I can just pick it up and move it over. And I can also get into advanced formatting, which I don't want to spend the time to get into advanced formatting now. Okay, so that's this grouping by option, which I think is a very cool feature, especially if you have multiple areas or multiple property types. It really breaks it down so you can study and analyze these here. So I'm just going to close this down. Actually, it just opened up a new tab, so let me go back to the previous tab that I was on down here. Okay, so that's the market analysis. There's also a price analysis. The price analysis, and if you recall, a lot of these reports were in Stats Pro when I went in through the front door, but I think a lot of times it's easier getting in through the back door here. Now the price analysis one actually breaks it down by the price range, so you can see there's like a $10,000 price gap in between. It shows me the number of units, the percentage, the average days on market, bedrooms, bathrooms, and so forth here. And down here it gives me the trends, it gives me the number of properties in blue and the average price in orange here, so I can compare them. I can compare it by week or quarter or by year and so forth there. Next one's inventory analysis. This one here, it will break it down by all the statuses. Now remember, when I ran this report, I only did sold, so it doesn't really show me anything else besides just solds. So this is a good one to do if I had like actives and pendings and solds and expireds, so I can see the number of actives to solds and so forth there. Days on market just breaks it down by groups of days on market. So you can see if there were, how many sold within really quick or a really long time period. So it breaks it down by 30 days, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, 91 to 120, and so forth here. And then it also does the trends by month, and I can change this percentage growth by sold price to list price or sold price to original list price. And it shows you the increase or decrease here. And I can do listing by status, price ratio, price trends. Let's do price trends here. This one here just shows me per month. And remember, it's all based on that criterion. I did only the last 6 months. So if I had it done a couple of years back, it would have done a lot more. So here it just shows me March there was 34, April 76, May 97. Down here it just gives us the numbers, and you can see the increase or the decrease volumes down here. I can also change this from units to the average sale price, and it'll just calculate a little differently here. Okay, well that's pretty much it, what I wanted to show you. I hope you learned something here, and if you have any questions, please give us a call and let us know, and we will be glad to help you out further. Hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day.